Hello, everyone. Donna Miller here from C3 Workplace, and I am delighted to welcome you to another segment of Data-Driven Financial Decisions. Nobody likes to talk about data. Nobody likes to work on their finances, but here's what I know for sure. Financial literacy is your business superpower. When you combine good data with good advice, you will make great decisions and you will accelerate your growth. You will be more profitable. You will know what services to market, and we would love to help you do that, just as we have done for thousands of companies. We are here for one purpose: to help you fund the life of your dreams. So welcome to this episode, and remember, information is not power. Applied information is power. So take something you learned today and apply it. Thanks again. Enjoy this segment. Hello, everyone. Donna Miller here from C3 Workplace, and I am so excited to kick off our new series on QuickBooks Online tips and tricks. Here at C3 Workplace, we've been helping companies to start and grow for over 25 years. We do that by providing office space out of 2 locations, virtual assistants, bookkeeping, and business growth advisory services. And we've all been going through some crazy COVID stuff lately, and I firmly believe that financial literacy is a business superpower. If you don't have it, I encourage you to hire it. Obviously, we can help with that, but we're bringing this QuickBooks Online tips and tricks series to you because we really want to help you work smarter. You know, it's the old saying that if you know how to do it, it's easy to do, but if you don't, you can really create a mess that frankly costs you more money to clean up than to do right in the first place. So we're going to come to you during this series with a whole bunch of tips and tricks that can help you to work smarter. And I am joined here in this session by Michelle Hagan. Michelle, say hello and introduce yourself to our audience.
Hello, thank you, Donna.
Absolutely.
I'm extremely happy to be here. And
excellent. And great. So what we're doing is these webinars are, I'm referring to them as micro classes. We're going to keep it short because we know if you try and learn too much in one shot, when we do one-to-one training, I don't know if Michelle or Pam, I know Pam's on the call as well, if we ever get that deer in the headlights look, but we're going to keep them short, and we're doing that on purpose. So with that, let's jump in. One of the things I have found, Michelle, is I get lost in QuickBooks. I don't quite know where we're going. Can you talk to us a little bit about kind of speeding up how we get around in QuickBooks Online?
absolutely. So if you are in QuickBooks, if you're in the file, you can, if you click your Control, Alt, and question mark, you will see this screen pop up. And what this contains is this will contain all of the shortcuts that you can use while you're within QuickBooks. And this may just make it easier to transition from one location to another location. So what you can do is I've actually copied this, printed it out, and kept it near my desk as I'm working so I can quickly move around and navigate from one item to the other. So we're going to just test a few today. I'm just going to click OK. So let's test the invoice. Let's say I want to create an invoice. I'm on the dashboard. Rather than trying to find the location, I would hit Control, Alt, and I. And as you can see, it automatically brings up my invoice, and I can find my customer and start creating my invoice.
Wowza.
The second, we're going to just leave. We're not going to save that. So let's just choose another one. Let's say we have an expense that we'd like to enter. You can hit Control, Alt, X, As you can see, it brings up your expense. You start typing and you can enter your expense. We're going to, let's test one more. Let's do
Awesome.
Alt-V. And as you can see, that will bring up your entire list of vendors. You can then search by the vendor, enter your bill, and do whatever you need to do from there. And again, this is just a very quick way to navigate between each item.
That is fantastic. So you all should go into your QuickBooks Online file, hit Control Alternate question mark, print out that shortcut list, talk about working smarter. I firmly believe that keyboard shortcuts for the things we do again and again and again, it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you are doing the same 5 keystrokes 20 times a day and you can cut that to 2, that's a big savings. I know it sounds crazy, but it's always the 50 little things that add up. So, you know, we're all multitasking. And this was one of the things that I found really difficult when I first started working in QuickBooks Online compared to desktop. Michelle, how do we multitask in QuickBooks without, you know, I feel like I'm constantly redoing things.
Sure. This is actually my very favorite tip. I use it probably 50 times a day when I'm in QuickBooks.
Wow.
If you click up at the tab on your tab and you do a right click and then click duplicate, you can actually duplicate the QuickBooks file. As you can see, this was the original. This is the duplicate, exact same thing. And I use this tip if I am, let's say we have a bill, and this is just one example, obviously, but let's say we have a bill that we need to enter. And I'm going to pull up a vendor. So the vendor, this is the vendor that I'm going to use, and I would like to enter an expense. And as I'm entering this expense, I discover that I need to go back and I need to find exact wording from either another check or another expense. Rather than saving and closing and leaving the screen, which again takes time, and if you're entering bills and invoices all day long, that's going to take, you know, a lot of your time up throughout the day. What you can do is you would duplicate this tab, go in to the second tab that you duplicated, find what information you're looking for. I'm pulling up the exact same vendor because I know I have a check that I want. Let's just go over here and see what I have. Let's say that there was information here. Okay. So this is my original tab, and I want to find this exact wording from a previous check. I would copy, which I just do a Control-C, bring it back over to the original tab, and I would paste it at expense. So I have the exact wording as I would like it to appear. And then I hit save and close. And then let me just click on there again, and you can see that saved and closed. You can
Awesome.
use this for invoicing. Let's say, I'm going to show you invoicing quickly. We'll pull up a customer, and I want to create a brand new invoice. I will go over to my second tab again, bring up my customer, find the customer. I would like to bring over the information. Okay, so here's the information. I would like, again, this exact information on my invoice I'm creating. I would just copy it, bring it over to my invoice, and paste it.
Beautiful.
That is just, that's one example that you can use a duplicate. You can use it if you're, let's say you're reconciling and you need to find a particular item. You can duplicate and look for that item in your second tab rather than going back and forth in and out of the screen that you're currently on.
So Michelle, just take me back to the beginning, and it was right click on what to create the second screen?
So I'm going to X out of here. So
Because that's the,
click on this tab at the top
uh-huh,
of the screen. Click on that. Do a right click.
right click.
You'll see
Got it.
duplicate. Click
Got it.
duplicate.
Love it.
And there you go.
Okay, I've been doing that in some other way that wasn't nearly as easy as that, because one of the reasons I use duplicate screens as the business owner, I'll want to review a report and I'll have the report in one window and I can dive into the detail in a second window without losing my report. So that's what I find myself using those duplicate windows for. I love that. Okay, so in the spirit of focusing on what we want to focus on, QuickBooks has a default way of listing our bank accounts. And I often find that annoying because I have to scroll to find what I'm looking for. Is there a way to reorder those in a way that's more logical to how I operate in my file?
Absolutely. So if you click on your dashboard on the left side of your screen, this dashboard is basically just a very quick snapshot or summary of your books. As you can see, you can quickly look at your income, expenses, profit and loss. And the one box you'll see is called bank accounts. This will list every bank account and or credit card that you have set up within QuickBooks. And what you may, and again, this is completely preference, but if you have usually more than 2 or 3 accounts, and let's say you need to reconcile them, you may want to place them in an order that makes sense for you. Let's say you have 3 accounts for one bank, you want all of them to appear together, then you may have 2 for another bank account and then all your credit cards. And again, this is just a preference on how you would like them displayed. But what you can do is if you click on this little pencil in the right-hand corner, you will see that there are a box of dots that appear. If you take your cursor over the one that you would like to move, the account you'd like to move, left click on that, hold it down and drag it. Let's say we want it to appear third. And you just drag them into the order that makes sense to you. And you can come back to this screen and rearrange as you feel necessary. You know, maybe you need to add accounts or maybe you remove accounts. So as you feel like you need to make this adjustment, you can go right in here. You can continue, moving these around as necessary. Now, when you're finished and you get to the point where this is comfortable, this is where you would like these, how these would be ordered, make sure you hit save, and you'll notice that they will save that in that order. Now going over to the banking, where you would normally, now I only have currently 1 account set up and connected to the bank, but if I had all of those accounts, they would show up in the order here. We just place them in the bank account box.
Gotcha. That's great. And by the way, I want all of you attending this micro lesson, as I'm calling it, to feel free to enter your questions into the chat window or the Q&A window. And when we're done with our little micro lesson, we will address your questions. I realize this is a lot of information, but you'll also get a recording of this as well. So sorry, Michelle, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew they could do that.
Sure, not a problem.
Awesome. So moving along, kind of along a similar vein, I have to say, I often find, and I'm sure it's because, again, I don't know what I'm doing and you do, but I have a hard time finding transactions. I found it, frankly, a little easier on the desktop version, maybe because I was used to it and that was quite a few years ago. So can you tell me, what are the shortcuts to finding transactions? Sure.
So this is another tip that I probably use on a daily basis, especially if I'm reconciling or looking for a particular item. If you click the magnifying glass in the upper right-hand corner, this box will appear. Go all the way down to the bottom where you see the blue advanced search. Click on the advanced search. This box will now appear. This will allow you to search most transactions. The most common transactions that you'll want to search are for transaction numbers, maybe a dollar amounts, the date, or even memos. Those are probably the top items that you normally would search for. But if you click on this top box where it says all transactions, what you can do is, if you know there's a particular item that is, maybe you know it's definitely a check, or maybe you're looking for a specific deposit, you can click on each individual one if you know exactly what it is and what item and transaction you're looking for. A lot of times I may not know, so I may just hit all transactions because I'm not sure if it was written as a check, or maybe it came through as a credit card expense. I'm going to hit all transactions so you can see what will appear. So let's first, we'll start with memo since it's there. Let's say we want to search for a memo that contains, and this box it can do contains, equal to, not equal to. We'll just say it contains, and I want to find all my transactions that shows, well, if I can spell, repair. Okay, so let's hit search. Okay, so you'll see these are all of my transactions.
That's great.
Contain the word repairs in the memo. And I'm going to show you, I'm just going to click on the first one. If you click on one of the transactions within that search, it will then take you to that client or vendor and then list all of the checks and expenses. So if I just click on, let's say I know it was around 515. Actually, we're going to go out of there. Sorry, let's do 5.5. This will bring up the check. And the memo, I just want to point
there you go.
whereas this is where, when you search a memo, it's going to find anything that isn't contained with the memo box. So you'll notice that it does go away from the search box when you click on a particular transaction. So just click the magnifying glass,
Advanced.
search, and it'll take you back to the box. So I want to, another example, let's just say a dollar amount. Probably the one I use the most. Again, like if I'm reconciling and I know there should be a transaction for $100, but I can't seem to find it, or maybe I put it in the wrong bank account, I may want to look up, let's say, $100. So again, I'm going to search all transactions. I'm going to click amount, and I know it's $100, so I want to do equal to. And I would put in $100. Now, when I'm doing dollar amounts, I always make sure that I put the cents. So I'll put 100.00. Search. This, again, will bring up all of my transactions. You'll see checks, invoices, expenses, estimates, everything that contains $100. And then you can go through and search. Hopefully you find the transaction that you're looking for.
Awesome. I'm learning so much. I'm so grateful. All right, so we've talked about some great shortcuts. Let's talk a little bit about housekeeping. I know that we can create unintentionally duplicate maybe vendors or clients. Can you show us both how to merge them? And I know there's a way to make them inactive so we don't have to scroll through all of them, even though we're learning how to search very quickly. So Michelle, can you show us a little bit about merging and making clients or vendors or whoever inactive?
Absolutely. So let's say you may have a client or vendor, and you can use this tip for either or. They're basically the same process. Let's say you have a customer. I'm just going to pull up a customer that's, let's do Blue Moon. Okay. Again, if I can spell.
It's okay. We don't hold that against you, Michelle.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so let's say we have a customer. We know that Blue Moon Builders, the first Blue Moon Builders here, we know that that is the customer that should be active and that is accurate. And by mistake, for some reason, somebody entered Blue Moon just a little bit differently, so it's up as a separate customer. Let's say this DM Blue Moon Builders. What we'd like to do is, and they're already inactive. What we'd like to do is take this Blue Moon Builders and merge it into Blue Moon Builders, the correct one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do edit. And this is, again, this is the customer that I'd like to merge into the correct one. Now, this is a perfect example of where we can use the duplicate tab. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here, and if you remember, I'm going to right click and hit duplicate. Okay.
Brilliant.
So I'm going to bring up the customer, Blue Moon. Now I'm going to bring up the one that I would like to stay active. Again, the first tab, this is the one that I am merging into the correct one. So when you're merging a client, customer, or vendor into another one, you want to make sure that the company and the display name is exactly the same. So in order to do that, when I duplicate, this is the one that I definitely know that I want to keep. So I'm going to go to edit, and I'm just going to copy exactly the same, obviously, since I can't spell, as you saw. I'm going to copy and go back to the customer that I would like to merge into. And I'm going to paste that so it appears exactly the same. Now, once you have that, you just click Save, and you're going to receive this message. Please confirm that name is already being used. Would you like to merge the two? Obviously, at this point, you want to make sure that this is the correct client or vendor that you're going to merge into the correct one. If it's not, you just hit no, start again. But for this example, this is the correct one, so we're going to hit yes. Now, as you can see, it says DM Blue Moon Builders deleted. This is the one that we merged into the correct one. It says deleted. It's actually inactive. In QuickBooks, when you make a vendor or client or customer inactive, it will say deleted by its name. You can always bring back the inactive client, customer, or vendor if needed. So
Awesome. Yeah.
we have now merged them together. So what we can do, the next item is, let's say we want to make this, let's say we made a mistake and we would like to make this active again. You just click edit, and at the bottom you'll see yes. Okay. That one is inactive. Inactive. Okay. So let's go to, let me just go to another customer here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Pull up. Okay. Let's say we go to Albert. We're going to pull up Albert. Let's do edit, make it active. Yes. Okay. And delete it. Now you can also make it active again. Let's say, whoops, I'm sorry. You know, that was a mistake. We need to keep that one active. You just click make active and he is active again, and you'll see all his transactions appear.
Right. And the purpose of this, the nice thing that I always find about this is if you're scrolling through your list, if you have hundreds of clients or hundreds of vendors, you really don't want to be kind of looking at and having to sort through the ones that are no longer active.
Correct.
So it definitely speeds things up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so let's go. So you can also batch vendors and clients or customers and make them active or active as a batch. Let's say you're in the middle of, you want to clean up your books, right? Like you want to make sure that you're cleaning up your customers, vendors. You haven't done that in a while. You may have a lot that either you're not working with, or maybe projects that's already finished that you may not work, with that particular customer again. What you can do is, if you pull up your customer list, and let's say we'll go through, we're going to say that customer and that customer and that customer. We'll just pick 3 for now. But you can go through your list, and if those 3 customers, we know that we're not working with those customers anymore, and we'd like to just clean up our list. We want to make these inactive. Rather than going into each individual customer, clicking edit, making inactive, you can click on the box to the left of their name, go up to this batch actions, click on the down arrow key, and click make inactive.
Awesome.
Or you want to make these customers inactive? Yes. And the good thing about QuickBooks is usually if you're doing something to this extreme, making inactive, active, deleting, it always brings up a message just to make sure this is exactly what you want to do, which is nice. So
Excellent.
3 customers are now inactive. So we do that very quickly, so if you have a large list that you need to do that with, that's the easiest way of doing it. And let's just say quickly, let's say, oops, you know what? I didn't mean to make Terry Adelman inactive. Again, you can click on it and hit edit, but if not, you can just click over here on the right, make active very quickly.
Awesome. These are amazing. I've learned so much in the last few minutes. So let's go to the Q&A, and we'll be happy to address your questions either about something we just covered or something else you'd like to know about QuickBooks.